Okay.
You are ugly. You're ugly. Are you shocked? Confused? Perhaps hurt? I'm curious, what was your initial reaction to having your appearance judged? I'm sure the feeling isn't pleasant. I know I certainly don't enjoy people criticizing my looks. The first time I became conscious of how I present myself was in middle school. I didn't really think about this thing until then. My family and friends never touched on this topic either. Other than my grandparents proclaiming my adorableness. As my grandma puts it, my features indicate that I will have a fulfilling and successful future. I started to realize that I'm not the pretty girl my loved ones say I am. Once I entered 7th grade, I noticed a difference between myself and others. The eyes I once adored so much now seem so small and lacking. My nose, sitting smack in the center, seemed too big and disproportionate to the rest of my face, which, by the way, isn't even as symmetrical as I would have liked. That's when I decided that I was ugly. Whenever I criticized my own appearance, my friends would rush to object and flatter me with compliments and phrases like, "You are beautiful." But deep down, we all know they're doing it out of comfort and obligation to boost my self-confidence. And through their white lies, I can hear a hint of hesitation when they describe how cute my face is. I have been the subject of the word ugly several times. There's a standard of beauty set up by society, and not everyone can achieve it. This brought up a question. Why do we say that everyone is beautiful? It's as if we link physical beauty to our worth. Ever since we were young, the idea of beauty has been ingrained in our minds, even if we don't realize it. Growing up, I loved reading my collection of fairy tales. The princess or heroine are always conventionally attractive. Subconsciously, I began to associate beauty with righteousness and good character. Cinderella's pure soul shines through, along with her strawberry blonde hair and enchanting complexion. On the contrary, her evil stepsisters bear faces resembling their ugly personalities. Beautiful people are portrayed this way in countless movies and dramas. Naturally, I began to view beautiful people as kind people, honest people, good people. And I'm not the only one. A beautiful face holds much more influential value on your brain than you think. The halo effect is a cognitive phenomenon that changes your overall perspective of someone due to one single appealing characteristic. An experiment conducted by Karen Dion, Ellen Burchide, and Elaine Walster provides a deeper insight into this psychological bias. Participants were presented with 3 pictures corresponding to 3 levels of attractiveness: highly attractive, average, and not so attractive. They were rated by researchers based on scientific criteria. Participants were asked to determine which person out of these set of photos possessed traits like altruism, compassion, rationality, and so on. They also had to judge their mental state and capability for success. The result is astounding. The majority of participants decided that the highly attractive person possessed the most positive traits and were the most successful and were the happiest. I find it really surprising that this many assumptions can be made about someone just based on their outermost appearance. Of course, this is not the case. There is no direct correlation between beauty and how virtuous someone is. We can't prevent first impressions. The first thing we notice about someone is their physical appearance. However, it becomes problematic when we can't see past an amazing combination of genes. We need to stop installing the idea that attractiveness is the greatest attribute someone can possess. This only fortifies the idea that a human being is defined by their outermost appearance. I remember watching an amazingly talented girl perform with her violin. only for the parents around me to berate her poor figure and below average face. She was pouring her heart out into that melody, yet someone sitting right next to me is reducing her to something that she can't control. The emphasis on perfecting our appearance can lead to severe consequences. According to the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders, at least 30 million people of all ages and genders suffer from an eating disorder in the US. The number of people suffering from eating disorder and body dysmorphia has only been on the rise. I have witnessed my own friend skip meals after meals, all because she feared gaining weight. It's completely fine to adjust your own appearance to feel more comfortable in your own skin, but it shouldn't go to the extremity of risking your own health and well-being. We have acknowledged that there is a narrow box reserved for the dictionary definition of pretty. However, just because you don't reach this impossible standard does not mean you aren't beautiful. The truth is, this image is morphed from the ideals of us from hundreds of years ago. We are the ones who stimulated this line between the pretty and the not. So before you casually comment on how that girl doesn't have pale enough skin, plump lips, a butt too big, too small, or how that boy doesn't have a defined jawline and muscular body ripped with abs, take into consideration how your words are only feeding into society's definition of beauty. Our obsession with beauty stems from the belief that beauty equates to worth. However, our outer shell is something that most people can drastically alter. By placing so much importance into the way someone looks, we are only creating a detrimental environment to the people here, right now, and the incoming generation. Remind yourself and others that beauty can be derived from so many different things. Maybe it's the way you giggle after a corny pun, or the way you dance while pretending you're in a music video, or how you pick yourself up time after hurdles of hardships. My eyes aren't lacking. They allow me to witness wonderful things, like a mother cradling her baby, tufts of cloud hovering above in the blue sky, and most importantly, dogs. My nose permits me to smell one of the greatest luxuries of life, food. I am full of ambition. I'm willing to give it my all. I possess an open mind, and I genuinely love my family and friends. I want to believe that they weren't lying when they called me beautiful. They see something in me that doesn't show on the surface. I may not be pretty, but I am beautiful. And so are each and every one of you. You are beautiful. Thank you.